Hello, everyone. It's nice to have you all. We are starting a countdown. This is 4 more nights of Dharma talks, and the ChanQi will be over. So tonight, I'd like to start with sharing with you a piece of news. And the photo here on the screen is that of a small boy who lives in Mountain View. This is probably recently taken, maybe a day or two old. And he's at this point here. The photo on the right is when he's at 7 hours. In full lotus. And he's still smiling. And this is 9 hours. He does still look as happy as at 7 hours. So Xiaolong has a lot of quite a ways to go. How about that, huh? Isn't that incredible? Thank you. So congratulations. He is outstanding. The parents has been helping him build up slowly. And actually, it's funny, it's not forced at all, like here at our temple. We have to force our students, our children. We have to cajole them. We have to bribe them. In Mountain View, maybe it's a Northern California climate or something, he asked to sit longer and longer and longer. Okay, so it's amazing that he's having a good time doing that. That's, to us, it's incredible level of blessings. Down here, what is it? Joseph sat for 11 and a half hours, right? And then after that, he sat the entire day, more or less. Just meditated the entire day, morning, afternoon, evening, yes? And stop to eat, only to eat and go to the restrooms. So our children are pretty scary, really. I remember when I was a novice and the elder monks of my teachers, my Chinese Teachers Association, related to me that at the time we all have to work for 4 hours, 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. And so this guy here has been with my late teacher for a long time. He told me that everyone had to work, except for those who could sit for 5 hours. You can sit for 5 hours back then, you didn't have to work. So you see, even my late teachers, monks and nuns, they can't even sit for 5 hours. And here our children are able to sit for longer than that. It turns out over 80% of the monks and nuns can do long sits at all. They cannot. Okay, so these children are really outstanding, and we're pleased with the parents. This cannot possibly happen without the parents' guidance. So keep it up, parents. And in particular, Joseph there, one word of advice. These children are endowed with a skill that most people will not be able to have. They experience a state of calm, a state of peace that most of us will not ever know. Okay, so that's an incredible achievement. Seriously, these are not ordinary children. in particular for Joseph. You have so much going for you. It's very important for you now that when Joseph first started coming to the temple 12 years ago. Can you stand up a little bit, Joseph? And alone, light. Over here, stand in front here so that everyone can see you. See how tall you are compared to Xiaolong. Huh? Come here, both of you. Oh, actually, that young gentleman is better than Xiaolong, because when he first came, when Joseph first came to my temple, he was 2 years old. How old is your son? Huh? 20 months? Oh no, that's too young. Come, let people see. When Joseph came to my temple, it was when I first noticed him. Come here, Along. I'll give you a little bit of tea to drink. Here you go. He needs bribery. So you see, this is a difference. It's like 12 years ago. I first looked at Joseph. He's about the same height as Along here. And now after 12 years, he's that tall. He's even taller than his mom. Okay. So thank you. So anyway, so he first came because he used to have a severe allergy to peanuts and to seafood. And once, at the time, his grandfather gave him some seafood, forced upon him, and he had hives, and typically his mom had to drive him to the emergency room once a week. And so at that time, she kind of sort of got tired. So he says, well, instead of going to the emergency room, let me go to Master's and dump it on his temple. So he brought him to the temple and said, hey, Master, this is my son. I'm on my way to the emergency room, but I decided to stop here first. And maybe I won't go, maybe I will go. And I looked at the son and to Joseph, and I said, well, I can't let him die at this temple. It would be very bad luck. So I looked at him, helped him a little bit for a few seconds, and then went up to my podium in the Lu Mountain Temple and started lecturing, I think it was a sutra lecture or something like that. And 2 hours later, the boy became normal. Anyway, so these people, these children have the kind of exposure that I personally didn't have. I wished I had when I was younger. When I studied in high school for the French high school baccalaureate, which is the 12th grade final examination, I need to pass it, otherwise you have to repeat the 12th grade. So we had to cram day and night for a month or two, maybe 3. And so much you can study. So naturally, at the time, I started meditating. Okay? And so to clear my head, and these children all know how to clear their heads already. Because when you sit for this many hours, your head is cleared up and you experience this peace and this calm and this happiness that is just indescribable. Okay? So it's a nice gift from the parents. And you remember, Joseph, but you still need to get good grades from school. You need to do homework, you need to go to tutoring classes, because eventually you have to find a way to support yourself and take care of your daddy and mommy when they get older. All right? In this country here, education is very important. You need to get at least a bachelor's degree. And to me, it would be nice to have a master's degree as well. Okay? So work hard, study hard. Okay? Congratulations again. Look at Xiao Tai. Look how happy he is. Okay, thank you everyone. Any questions? Yes, pink fist.
So we would like to introduce a new person in Korea.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. 저는 김은주라고 합니다.
Her name is Kim Unju.
Where is she from?
저는 서 교수님의 그 인연으로 왔습니다.
대학교 친구인가?
대학교 친구예요.
She is a friend of Seo Joo-soonim since in the college.
Okay, college friend. Oh, very nice of you.
She's Catholic.
She's Catholic. And where does she live? Is she
어디 사시는?
저 서울에 살고 있어요.
She lives in Seoul.
in Seoul? So it's quite a long distance for her to go see her friend.
그 고속 열차로 40분 만에 왔어요.
So she took the train in the morning. Only took 40 minutes from Seoul to here.
Yeah, driving a car is about 2-3 hours. This fast train is about 40 minutes. Okay,
Right.
Korea has very good public transportation system. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
감사합니다.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's continue, please.
所以你们谁睡觉啊？要可以像这魁基法师那种境界，就可以睡觉。
So, if any of you sleep, you need to have Dharma Master Kuiji's state, then you can sleep.
要没有到那种境界，就不要睡觉。睡觉那把光阴都空过了。
If you haven't reached that type of state, then don't sleep. Sleeping is to let the time go by in vain.
你要是肉身菩萨才可以睡觉，不是肉身菩萨，不可以睡觉。
If you're flesh body Bodhisattva, then you can sleep. If not flesh body Bodhisattva, then you cannot sleep.
It's usually it's better to translate as bodhisattva in the flesh. Okay, flesh body is Chinese. It's okay. This is small thing.
金光没有了，所以我有送供养。给天人这样一讲，这个道宣律师才生了大惭愧，那么就听见呢，在以后听见有人睡觉的。 要没有到那种境界，就不要睡觉。睡觉那把光阴都空过了，你要是肉身菩萨才可以睡觉，不是肉身菩萨，不可以睡觉。 我也常常听人家睡觉那声音很大的。那么回者啊，也是肉身菩萨现身啊，那么回者不是。
So, I often heard people sleeping. It sounded very loud. That might be Bodhisattva in the flesh manifesting, or not.
所以我不管他是不是，是我也不准他睡觉，不是也不准他睡觉。
I don't care if he is or not. If he is, I also don't allow him to sleep. If not, also don't allow him to sleep.
所以呀，在我们这个禅堂里边，肉身菩萨和不是肉身菩萨都不能睡觉的。
So, inside our ChanQi, Bodhisattva in the flesh or not Bodhisattva in the flesh, all cannot sleep.
要参禅，要打坐，要打起精神，打起精神来，参这一句话头。
Need to investigate Chan, need to meditate, need to lift up the spirit to investigate this HuaTou.
So, Master YongHua, at the time that he's teaching, he taught this ChanQi here, I believe was one of the early days of his teaching in the U.S., at San Francisco in the 1970s, early 70s or late 60s. And therefore, I feel maybe at the time he's not as experienced. So there's certain things that I tend to disagree with his approach. Not to if we do it here in the U.S., and not to discourage people to sleep. It's too extreme to us. Okay, and it tends to discourage people, and will make them quit a lot sooner than otherwise. So I don't recommend that you do this. Okay, if you are with your own disciples and who've been coming here and practicing a lot of different Dharma doors, different things, have tried different things already, then later down the road, then you might want to forego the rest. Like the rest in the afternoon we have between 3:40 and 5 o'clock, you might want to forego that, and then you might want to forego sleeping at night. So you have to build it gradually. For us to tell regular people that since we are too hardcore and we don't sleep when you meditate, to me it's not a very good image for Chan training at all. It's too extreme. Okay, I would not do that. I have to respectfully disagree. Okay, it's there are so many things that we need to build, help you build as your foundation for Chan. Okay, and at different levels, your foundation has to keep on evolving. Okay, so the way the Chinese approach it, I notice, is that they force feed you. They make you suffer. They make you go through extremes. Endurance, extreme processes like this, and that's fine because this is Chinese culture. They are sheeps. They're supposed to do what they're told. For people in the West, it has to be more rational. So I doubt that many people are willing to do that nowadays. And case in point, proof is that at my master's temples, they don't do these long ChanQis anymore because no one are coming anymore. And because even they're helping, they're assisting these Chan meditators on building the foundation, the proper foundation is not even happening. Why would you even go to the next step by going to the extreme? When you go to the extreme like this, there's a training behind it, there's a reason for it, okay? Which I'm not going to tell you. But to do that, it's not meant for everyone, okay? It requires judicious timing. It requires the delicacy, the subtlety in teaching. So I don't like the Chinese style of using brute force like this. Okay. All right. So we don't do that here. Okay. You folks listen to, it's fun to listen to how my master did it in the early days. So I wasn't there, so I'm curious to myself. But I just don't subscribe to that. I feel that it's counterproductive. Okay. Oh, by the way, as I was sitting here and looking at the screen of the various people who have the video piping over back to us, I noticed in Ontario, can you see it on the screen? You notice anything different in Ontario screen? This is a gentleman that in the background you see a lot of bookcases. And what's in the bookcases? Can you see? It's very hard to tell. It's because earlier his head was a little bit off center, so I could tell what were in the bookcases. Now I'm challenging you. What's in the bookcases? Okay, sir, would you mind moving your head out of the picture, out of the way? Thank you. There you go. That's enough. That's enough. Can you see it now? What's in the bookcases? Can you see it? Yeah, stuffed animals. Thank you. Canadian men are strange. That's all I can say. I can understand, baseball bats. I can understand trains, model trains, and cars, and so forth. But stuffed animals? All right, it's a different culture, you see. Never mind. Okay, let's continue investigating, this important chanting here.
念佛是睡问出来，然后才可以睡觉。
Who is reciting the Buddha's name? Ask till you get the answer, then you can sleep.
You see, I was going through this earlier just to have an idea what he's going to cover. And I noticed this, ask until you get the answer. So I checked the Chinese. Yes, the Chinese is exact translation. It's the Chinese also ask. And really, you don't ask. Okay. That's the wrong way to practice the HuaTou. Anyway, so I beg to differ again here. So what do? You don't ask. What do? Chan is new to the West. there aren't many people who can teach Chan. So these people, most people are, getting the information from secondary sources, either some sort of transcript somewhere or some kind of papers from the university scholars or some kind of self-professed meditation teachers. Okay, so for us to teach Chan, because we are the expert, we are the professionals, we have to be accurate. We cannot afford to be loose. You don't say ask. What do you say? You contemplate. You don't ask. Okay? It's a subtle difference. But if you practice HuaTou, okay, I started practicing HuaTou myself when I was a novice monk, because every single Chinese, they all told themselves that the HuaTou is the most wonderful Chan practice that there is. So everyone wants to do HuaTou because you can become enlightened very quickly. Okay, so I did that too, and my mistake was that I asked. And very quickly I gave up because I got nowhere. I got very frustrated very quickly because of the lack of instructions, lack of people who really know what they're doing to guide me. And based on my master's information that I got from that I called from different sources, it's the ask. That's wrong. You don't ask. You contemplate. You ask, you will not go anywhere. And that's why a lot of people who practice this particular Chan, powerful Chan, Dharma door here, they ask. And I guarantee you, if you ask, you get nowhere. Okay? Continue. Yes, question. Yes, pink fist.
Master, in Korean translation, it says, until you get answer, investigate. So is investigate also incorrect, or is that okay?
It's okay.
Thank you.
要是找不着是谁呀，那就要来找这是谁。
If you cannot find who, then you need to seek this who.
This is referring to the essence of this HuaTou here, where people contemplate this question, who's reciting the Buddha's name, and you question and you contemplate that question, that phrase, and eventually you can figure out who's actually reciting the Buddha's name. That's what this is about. That's the essence of this particular practice. So that's all they're saying. Again, it's too Chinese an explanation. For us Westerners, it's very confusing. At least for me, it was very confusing. And I'm sure it's the same for the Koreans as well. Because I didn't read the Korean explanations, but I know that most Koreans don't get anywhere either. Okay? Okay. Go on.
这个禅堂里面，什么样人都有。 什么人都有，共同在一起修行，就互相可以借光。
Inside this Cheng hall has all kinds of people. In here have all kinds of people cultivating together and can borrow light from each other.
So this is the advantages of, one of the advantages of going to a Chan hall to practice back then in China, where you have this gathering of meditators who are at different levels. And it's a very wonderful Chinese tradition where if the Dharma host, the person who organizes it, have that kind of reputation, you know when you go there, you have a group of very good meditators. Okay. For example, when my late Chinese master was organizing ChanQi, okay, even though there weren't a lot of people who came there to attend in the 1960s and 70s who were that good, but actually the mere mention his name would bring a lot of people, invisible beings from the heavens, from very far away, okay, who would come to San Francisco and went there to participate, to take advantage of Master YongHua's help. And when they went there, this is what they actually are experiencing. He used to sit with them, okay, when he was younger. When he was older, he stopped doing that. But he was younger at the time. I'm sure he was sitting with them, and that's why when you sit with him, actually he emits lights. When he emits light like that, it's after he's talking about borrow light from each other, because you meditate and you enter samadhi, you emit lights, okay, and the lights there actually each different level of samadhis, as you progress the high levels, the light gets stronger and brighter and gets farther. And those lights of those people are actually very beneficial for you. So that he's referring to 借光 in Chinese, 互相借光 is that they benefit from each other, meaning that they benefit from someone who's higher level than you. So that in itself is external aid. You get inconceivable help. Case in point, like you bring the children to the temple, and I was saying that today at lunch. I said, you notice when people bring the children, the babies, the newborn to the temple, after about half an hour they hear, they perk up, they become more peaceful, more happy, if you will, consistently. Okay, I say 90% of the time. All right, so that's another form of 借光, it's another form of borrowing the light from others, because it's tremendously helpful, very beneficial for you to draw near people who are stronger concentration power than you. Conversely speaking, when I was a novice monk, and this is a funny story, it's true, that's what actually happened. I was able to sit for a very long time. So at the City 10,000 Buddhas, we were allowed to, for the people who have long sits, they don't need to stand up between the breaks and to walk. You can sit there as long as you want. So there's a small area in the Chan hall where you can sit, where people do not disturb you. They walk away from you. Okay, so I was sitting there in this area with the Fangzang, the abbot, the young abbot there. He sat there, the first seat, and I would sit right next to him. Okay, and basically it's just the two of us who could sit for the whole day without getting up. And it's fine. And usually he's the one who has to stand up because of work. Okay, he would stand up, and because the way he sat, the way he sat is the way I sat as well at the time. I didn't know any better. Can you see my legs here? You see, the way people are taught to sit is like this. Okay, like this. The plants of your feet are placed on top of your knees, on both sides. Okay, when you do that, there's a problem. This left leg here, okay, is bent, is twisted a lot. So that if you sit for a long time, typically when you stand up, it hurts like hell. So he would stand up after 6, 7 hours, 10 hours, and he couldn't walk. Okay, but he's very happy. Okay, just have to wait for 1 minute and then you can walk again. It's not a big deal. So that's why after that I learned that another way to avoid that, and that I'm training my students. But anyway, I train my students. Anyway, so that's what happened. Day after day we would sit, and then he usually stand up. I didn't need to stand up. And he had to stand up to go to the office, take care of business. He's a lot younger than I was. He was like 32, and to be very, very impressive to be at the age and be an abbot of a big temple. And I was at the time like 40. Anyway, and one day I was busy because I had to teach at the high school there. So my late father, who's about similar level as I was, decided to take my seat. And he sat next to the abbot, the area where for people who can sit for a long time. Now, my father could sit for about 5, 6 hours. Okay, it's pretty impressive. Okay, he worked hard at it. But within like 2, 3 hours, the abbot, I was told, I wasn't there. Someone told me that story. He said after 2, 3 hours, the abbot stood up. His face is so afflicted, and he's like very afflictedly walk away, and he would not come back. My point being that if you sit with people who are better than you, it helps. If you sit next to someone who may be sitting there for a long time, but his head is full of thoughts, it doesn't help at all. So that's why you want to sit next to people who are a little bit better than you, so that you can borrow the better lights, if you will. Okay. All right, continue, please. I had a similar experience when I first came to the city, 10,000 Buddhas. I was sitting for 10 hours, and then the guy next to me was fidgeting and moving back and forth and leaning his hands and lying down and getting up and everything else. After a few hours, it was going crazy, snoring, sighing, and he's so bored out of his mind. And I couldn't take it myself either. Anyway, go on, please.
你这没有光明的人，就会借着这有光明的人呢来照一照。
You who don't have light can borrow from the ones who have light to illuminate.
有光明的人，你大放光明，就照破一切的黑暗。
The one who have light, you can emit light greatly, to illuminate and break through all darkness.
黑暗就是愚痴，光明就是有智慧。有智慧的人修行，就帮助愚痴的人修行。
Darkness is stupid people. Light is people with wisdom. The ones with wisdom cultivating is helping the stupid ones cultivating.
在这个末法时代，人心呢，也都变了，变了什么呢？
At this Dharma ending era, people's minds have all changed. What was changed?
What is the Dharma ending era? This is a Buddhist term that means that this is the time where the Buddha Dharma is shrinking, is losing its influence. It's shrinking in its reach. Okay, in particular, not only is it losing in its reach, it also losing in terms of the people who can really understand the Dharma. That's why it's called Dharma ending era, Dharma ending age, because the reach is shrinking. It's just not just Buddhism, but most religions nowadays they are losing grounds. Okay, and few people are really cultivating, are really interested in understanding the doctrine, the teachings anymore. People are now more interested in building churches and synagogues and getting more disciples, more donations, and instead of enriching their mind. Okay, and that's what the Dharma ending era. And because of that, okay, in particular, I don't know about the other religions, but Buddhism only exists because of the interest from the people. If no one's interested in learning about Buddhism, we don't teach. Okay, we're not trying to teach Buddhism at all. Okay, that's the difference. The religion, other religions, they trying to teach you about what they know. Okay, there are a lot of very smart and very accomplished scholars who are experts at those doctrines. They're so knowledgeable. In Buddhism, in our faith, we don't do that. We don't try to we don't stress knowledge. Okay, we don't stress the spreading of knowledge at all. Okay, we don't stress converting people to our way of thinking or our beliefs, if you will tolerate my use of the convert. Okay, the word convert. We don't do that. We don't convert people to Buddhism. You know, for example, in our temple, we have people who have been coming here for years. We don't even try to tell them they should become Buddhists. It doesn't matter. It's open for everyone. You want to come and listen, you enjoy it, fine. You don't, but you don't have to be Buddhist. Okay, you can be yourself. Okay, so it's because we don't try to convert people. We don't try to indoctrinate people at all. What are we trying to do? We're trying to do nothing. Okay? It's the people who come, who have some problems, some issues, some concerns. Okay? And if they feel like asking for our advice, our input, we'd be glad to give it. If they come and don't ask for our input, we don't say anything either. Okay? My point being that we really are not trying to teach our doctrines. We're not trying to spread our beliefs. It's not Buddhism at all. Okay, the Buddhism I learned from my Chinese master is not like that. We're not seeking to spread the knowledge. Okay, we are here making ourselves available for people to come. And for whatever, for some people they come because they need a break, they need to relax a little bit. Many people would come to our temple and sit for half an hour by themselves in a Buddha hall, whatever, in a garden, in a yard, and until they feel better and more relaxed, and they leave. No word exchange, no donation asked, nothing. You can do whatever you wish, okay? It's open, okay? It's because whatever people need to do, and we're able to help, we help unconditionally. And it's never about converting them to Buddhists, okay? It's never about teaching them about Buddhism, I assure you, okay? So it's always about, so this Dharma ending age, is the era where the Buddha Dharma would disappear. It will disappear because people are not interested in Buddhism anymore. They're not interested in finding out about Buddhism, how they can benefit from the teachings. Okay, then Buddhism will disappear because we no longer talk about it to them. And that's why it disappears. Okay? There's no need to talk about it anymore. I teach you tonight is because you are gathered here, because you're interested in learning about meditation. Okay? And you're interested in learning how to become enlightened. Then we show you, we teach you. If no more people are interested in doing that, we stop teaching Chan meditation as well. Without any hesitation. Okay? So it's you who are keeping these doctrines, these special knowledge alive. And this particular Dharma ending era, fewer and fewer people want to know anymore. Okay? And that's why we make our knowledge, our understanding, less and less available. Okay, so the knowledge base keeps on shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Now, the difference is that you have been coming here for many years and you've been progressing. That's why you notice my Dharma talks, my sutra lectures becomes more advanced and even more advanced as time goes along. Because your interests, your needs evolved, and you you require different kind of understanding, different kind of challenges in order to keep you interested. Okay, so that's why our Dharma keeps on growing, whereas the rest is actually shrinking. Okay, yeah. Continue, please.
你叫他往好了想，很困难的；你叫他往不好了想，就很容易的。
You told him to learn to be good is very difficult. You told him to learn to be bad, then it's very easy.
我曾经记得，在小的时候，小这个念书、读书。
I remember from the past, when I was young, I studied, I read books.
读一遍也记不住，读两遍也记不住。我
Read once, I couldn't remember. Read twice, I couldn't remember neither.
最开始读书的时候很愚痴，愚痴的什么样子呢？
When I first started studying, I was very stupid. Stupid to what point?
这6句书那时候我读的是《三字经》，读6句
That 6 sentences. At that time, I was reading the 3-word sutra. I read 6 sentences.
人之初，性本善，性相。
When a person was first born, the nature was originally good.
相近，习相远。
The natures are similar, but the habits are far apart.
苟不教，性乃迁。
If careless and not taught, the nature will change.
教之道，贵以专。
The way of teaching values focus.
Does he go into explaining this? This is so Chinese. For them, it's commonplace. For us, it's nonsense. They memorize these things. They regurgitate it, and they expect miracles to happen. But even children, they teach them these simple, very short things to memorize. So it helps train them to memorize. But also these things are extremely profound as well. But it doesn't quite help them that much. Okay, let me go explain to you a little bit. Okay, the six things, the six verses, 6 sentences. That's why it only has 6 sentences, but it's very, very interesting. Okay, this is a Chinese wisdom. And they taught it to their own children. And that's why the culture is very profound. That's why these Chinese people, the Chinese people, they grow up appreciating things of death. And they don't know why. They like deep things. They don't like to, superficial things, unlike Joseph, okay, who's more into superficial things, fun things. The typical Chinese people, they prefer something meaningful, something that nourishes the psyche. Okay, and it's because now I realize it's a case because they brainwash their children at such an early age. Excuse me, I didn't mean it in a derogative fashion, using the word brainwash, but because there's accumulation of these built-in, profound teachings in the culture. Okay, the Asians have an edge over us. Okay, so they go for substance instead of superficial, like us Westerners. Okay, so yes, sir. That's why education is very important. Even if you learn superficial things, but you don't apply efforts, you're even worse off than without learning anything at all. So these 6 characteristics, shall we go through them? 人之初，性本善. Initially, man's nature was fundamentally good. It's true. Okay, look at the children who are first born compared to as they get older. You see how as the more they learn, they become less spontaneous. They become influenced by the people around them, by the environment. Okay, but you look at the children who are younger, the younger children, they tend to be a lot more spontaneous. They tend to be a lot nicer, if you will. Not all of them. Some of them are born evil. Okay, that's you can't win them all. But the point being that, in general, if you take the average, so over 50% of the children are born good. Okay? So this is the wisdom. It's true. All right? Next phrase. The nature is, their natures are similar, okay? But the habits are far apart, okay? So they all are predisposed towards, not all, almost all of them are predisposed towards goodness. They like goodness naturally, okay? It's very rare to see children who are evil. Okay? So that's what they say. The nature of the children are similar because they all are nice, kind, sweet. I'm gauging myself. I only have a few more minutes, so my tea is almost done. No problem. But their habits are far apart, meaning that because of their own environment, their own family, their own schools, so they pick up habits from the people around them, of their environment. So that's why they will, even though they started out with the same type of makeup, but eventually, okay, because of the different environment, they go towards different directions. Which directions? Next one, it says, if you don't teach them, okay? If we don't teach them, this is very important, okay? Even nowadays, many Chinese people don't teach their children anymore. And this is right there in their original teaching that they taught the children, okay? if they are not taught, we don't pay attention to their education, okay, then their good nature, you see, this is so Chinese. Sing here is nature, but it's assuming their original nature, okay, will also change. So initially they're good, but eventually they will change for the worse. Okay, they become more lazy, they don't study anymore, okay, because they evolve, they change, okay? Yeah. So far so good? Just think about it. This is what the kids are taught. They're taught to memorize, okay? But it also means that the parents also memorize this. So actually, this is actually a guideline for the parents. So the Chinese culture is very, very clever, okay? Okay? So anyway, so they say, how do you teach them? See, the logic here is beautiful. How do you teach them? What is the way to teach them? Okay? He says, the most gui is the most precious, the most noble. Okay? The best value is focus. That is quintessential Chinese culture. This is beautiful. Meaning what? What does it mean? Right here. This is so Chinese. Yeah. This is when I wished I were born Chinese, because I would have this kind of, indoctrination in my mind already. Didn't have to wait until I became a monk to learn about these things. And that's too late. I set my ways already. Okay, what does it mean? Wei yi Xuan. The most noble, the most valuable is to use focus. Meaning what? Come on, Chinese people, help us out. You Chinese should know. Taiwanese should know. Asians should know. Huh? What does it mean? It's kind of cool. Any guess, Joseph? It means that, yes, tea, orange.
Thưa Thầy, giống như con hiểu là y choan là không thay đổi, là nhất là...
It means that the best thing, gui here, like gui is Chinese for noble, okay, of highest value. Gui, it's a status. It is a class of nobility, if you will. Okay? Gui. Yeah. Gui is that you are of nobility. Okay? That's one of the primary meanings of this character, gui here. Okay? And so it means that for the elite, for the foremost is to focus. Yes? So you teach them concentration. It's not about teaching arithmetic, not teaching about cooking. It's not teaching about I don't know what people teach children nowadays. But of the utmost important, of the most valuable thing you can teach them is concentration. That's why I'm so proud of our children. They have concentration. Without concentration, you cannot sit for a long time. And if we sit for a long time, it increases your concentration. Now you have it. You have to use that concentration to apply it towards schoolwork. Otherwise, the concentration will be used, my boy, towards bad things. Okay? That's why that's the difference. So it's up to us. It's our responsibility to remind them. We are the one who created these monsters who can sit and meditate, who can concentrate. If they were not careful, then they concentrate on doing more mischiefs, more bad things. Instead, if they concentrate on getting better grades and learning, okay, and applying themselves in schoolwork, that is the way to go. Because that's the edge out that our children have over the other children. The other children are only learning all the superficial things, but they can't concentrate. Concentration is a special skill that very few places can train them, can give them. It's unique. It requires unique skills that's not available. Yes?
He doesn't feel he can concentrate. He struggles with concentration.
He doesn't feel concentrate. Well, it's better than before. Okay? It gets better and better and better. Okay. All right, time is up. Final questions? And that's a Chinese wisdom, by the way. This is. I'm impressed. This is such a beautiful, beautiful tip for the parents. And guess what? The Chinese don't do it anymore. Now we teach children to concentrate in America, not in China anymore. Okay. Anyway, next time let's resume at 25. Thank you everyone.